Hello, it's Christy from Mindful Evolutions, and if you love the stretch series that we do on the Reformer at the beginning of every class as much as I do, and you want to take it into your day, on the road, at work, wherever you are, then this is a great video for that because I'm going to show you how to do all of those stretches with just a towel. You can also use a magic circle if you like, or a band, but this is just basic towel. You might also, if you have very tight hamstrings or tightness in your low back or in your neck, you might grab a pillow or another extra towel to stick behind your head or underneath your tailbone for a little extra support. So let's find ourselves a mat and lay all the way down. And as we lay ourselves down, this is where we would put the towel or the pillow behind our head to support our head if we need it. And then underneath your tailbone if you need that too, if your hamstrings feel very tight. And tight hamstrings look like this. If you lift your leg up to the sky and this is as far as it can go, then that is pretty tight. And we just want to support your stretching and your flexibility by not pushing past where you are. Just meet yourself where you are, stick that little towel under there, give yourself the support, and then move forward with the stretching. Of course, if anything stops or hurts, then stop and take a break. Let's see if we can stick this towel on the bottom of our left foot. And at first, we're just gonna try and bend that left knee a little and straighten. As we bend and straighten here, this is really great for sciatic pain, low back pain, and this is called nerve flossing. As we bend press, we'll just straighten to whatever feels okay with your body. And my right knee is bent right now, but I could take and straighten it for a little extra stretch. When I straighten my right leg, that makes that a little bit more intense on my left leg. So I'm gonna stay there, and I'm gonna try and push my left hip down. So left hip heavy, and I'm gonna see if I can even put a little arch in my middle back to try and push my tailbone away from me. I have a little bend in my left knee, and I'm gonna try and pull my left toes towards my face. I could do a little ankle roll here. All these little micro moves are so good for our stretches because we're not just tight in one single spot. Our body holds a lot of tightness and tension in many places. So holding that stretch with little micro adjustments is so good. It makes it a really active stretch. Now I'm going to take and drift my leg across my midline. So if I thought of a string or a line going all the way through the center of my body, I'm going to see if I can take this left leg across that line with my left hip really heavy. Sometimes I'll see this in class, this big, huge lift. And that does feel good. It just changes the stretch. So for this one, let's see if we can kind of push that left hip down. It'll lift a little. And I've also moved both of the sides of the towel to just my right hand. So that way I can kind of pull over towards that angle. And again, I could roll that ankle around a little bit. I could try and take my leg a little lower or bend that elbow and get it a little closer. That's a little spicy. So I'm just gonna breathe, find a stretch on a scale of 0 to 10, maybe at like my 8, because I haven't been doing anything else right now. So when we're warm and we've been active, that's a really good time to stretch. But I haven't been doing much in the past few minutes, so I'm just gonna hang out in my 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. Great, now let's pass the handles of the towel over to our left hand and drift this leg over to the left. It will find its own spot over there. Some of us will stop here. That's as stretchy as we can get. Some of us will be here, and some people will be able to put their foot all the way down to the floor. My right hip is lifting just a little bit, so I'm just gonna kind of push that back down. And I'm trying to think of pushing from my left hip all the way through my left heel. I've got a little baby bend in this left knee, and my toesies can go a little up, down, just to look around in that stretch for what feels the best. Big deep breaths. See if you can push those shoulders down. Relax the rest of your body. If it becomes too intense or doesn't feel right, then always back off. Now we'll bring this leg back up. Good job. And at any point, if I'm moving too fast, you want to slow it down, push pause, hang out in that stretch a little further, and then come back whenever you're ready. Now let's bend this left knee and drop that left foot down. When I drop my left foot down, that might be enough of a stretch. I start to feel that on my left hip or the inside of my left leg. Or if I drop my left knee down a little here, that's even more intense on the outside of that left knee. So all I did, I'll go over that again, is I dropped my left foot down to the floor and then drop my left knee in towards my midline. If I want a little bit more on this, I'll pull that left foot over to the left side of my body and keep leaning that knee in. If I want even more on this stretch, I'll take my right foot, set it on top of that left knee, and use that to pull that knee down. Left hip will lift a little here, totally okay. Breathe. Any little micro moves are gonna change. So as I kind of pulled my hip down a little bit, I felt that a little differently in my left hip. If I lean away or towards my knees, that feels a little different. So just find what feels good for you on this side today. Hang out here for about 30 seconds. And then gently take that leg off if it was up there and send this left leg up to the sky. And then let's see if we can, we might have to take our towel off, see if we can bring this right leg up and cross it over, slide it down below that left knee, and then bend this left leg just a little bit. Now this is no longer on my left leg as far as the stretch goes. I'm feeling this over here underneath behind my right leg. So that's kind of cool. And I could hold on with both hands, or I could hold on with just one hand. And the more I bend this left knee, the more I feel over there on that right hip. It's pretty cool. If I lean a little left or a little right, that changes the stretch. If I lift this leg up a little or drop it down, or if I slide my right leg in a little, all those things change the stretch. If I had to give the most power to any one of the stretches, it would be this one. It is so good for us, especially if we've been sitting for a long period of time, or we feel any pain in our low back or hip or in our glutes. This one is amazing. We can always back off though, so if it's too much, back off of it and come back. Beautiful. And now we're gonna take this apart and switch to the other side. So when I slide my towel off, I'm gonna rock my knees side to side. It's called a supine back twist. It's so good for our low back. Anytime we need to loosen up those low back muscles, just this little rock side to side is so good for us. Now, it feels like I got a big stretch already on the back of this right leg, but that's because that piriformis stretch is so good. Now I'm gonna try and get my hamstring stretch. So I'm gonna put the towel or band or magic circle on this right foot. I'll bend a little and straighten a little. Bend a little, straighten a little. My left knee is bent right now, so I could leave it there or I could straighten, you decide. And then I'm gonna stay right here and put that arch in my middle back. I'm gonna push my right heel to the ceiling and pull my right toes towards my face. If I pull my right toes towards my left ear, I feel that even differently. More stretch back here and behind my knee, on my calf and knee. Great, big deep breaths. And then let's see if we can drift this leg over to the left a little bit. So this is where we cross over our midline. And I'm gonna try and make my right hip a little bit heavy. I'm gonna see if I can keep a little bend in this knee and pull my toes towards my face. Big deep breaths. This is technically an IT stretch, which is your IT band goes outside on the outside of your quad. Insertion point is in our knee and then into our glute. And it's often the cause of a lot of pain in our legs, sometimes hips and low back, and just stretching it can help wonders. Great, now let's switch back over to the right hand, and this right leg will go over to the furthest spot to the right that you can. Keep a little baby bend in that knee and roll that ankle around if it feels good. Think of pressing through your right hip all the way out that right ankle, right heel, and then make left hip a little heavy. It's okay if it lifts a little. Good, good. Big deep breaths, press. Now we're gonna go into that big hip stretch and inner quad stretch. So I might just drop my right foot down to the floor, and that might be enough for me. I might take that knee and drift it in if that feels good. If it's okay with my body though, I'm gonna take and pull that right foot out to the right, and then I might even lift this left leg up and set it on top of that knee and pull down. If you feel any sharp pain in your knee or it doesn't feel right, then immediately take that off and stop. If we take and lift our right hip a little and push our knees away from us, that feels different than if we tuck. So just kind of look around a little and see what feels the best. Should feel this in your hip and on that right inner thigh. I'm feeling it a little on my right outer thigh too because of my left leg sitting where it is, and it feels good, so I'm gonna leave it. Great. Now we'll drop our left leg down if that was up there, and we'll help this leg come up to the sky. Here comes the piriformis stretch on our left leg. So when right leg comes up, let's see if we can set our left leg below that knee. Sometimes on these, we just have to get a bigger towel because it's a kind of a tough stretch for some of us. So I'm gonna try and bend my right knee, and I'm gonna hold on with my right hand to the towel and take my left hand and kind of push on that left knee and go a little to the right and a little to the left. Of course, any little micro move, like tiny little move, like lifting this right foot up an inch or down an inch, or any little tiny slide, like if left leg slides to the right a little, that changes that too. All those little micro moves really change this stretch. So see what feels good on this side today. If you feel like your head is coming off the ground, like if it looks kind of like this, that's where we need that pillow behind our head. If you're like, oh, I'm not getting up, I'm gonna hang out in it, just reach back there with one of your hands and see if you can support your head. So that way your head isn't floating and straining your neck. Good, good, good. Let's take that off, drop that left foot down, hold on to that towel, and again, rock those knees side to side, get out of that low back. Maybe even legs go out, arms go out, and shake those arms and legs. So good, so good. I definitely needed that stretch. Up we go. And if we do this every single day, take 5 minutes, take 2 minutes, take as long as you need. If you do this every single day, your body is gonna thank you. I cannot wait to see and hear how this makes you feel. I'll see you in Pilates.